Tina Adcock Thomas.
Mark Evans.
Adrian McGinnis.
Marty, if you can hear me. Present. I'll accept that.
Yeah.
Marty, can you hear us?
I can. We're working. We're live.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
That's our quorum. Thank you. Okay, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Present. I'll accept that.
Yeah.
Marty, can you hear us?
I can hear you. I can. We're working. We're live.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
That's our quorum. Thank you. Okay, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Present. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States.
I can hear you. I can. We're working. We're live.
Under God,
That's our quorum. Thank you.
justice for all.
We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Is that what? Okay. Okay, we have a need to go to executive session immediately. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna take a brief moment, and we'll be back. Okay, thanks for waiting. Jump right into the district update. Do you want this microphone so that everybody can hear you?
I think
Or
it's
is this
good.
just for me?
I think
You're good.
it's, she can get a teacher voice. This is right for you, so. Good. Our district update, our enrollment is at 891, which, we're processing through. That does not include our pre-K classes. I do want to share with you some information, but I'll get through staff changes next. We have a switch in our first grade class. And then as a district update, you already see this if we go to, Michael, can we go to the PowerPoint? I wanted to share, we've had a great start of school, incredible start of school. And I want to share some accolades with our administrative team and our staff that have helped manage that. So I did out a pulse check to the staff, and we had about half participate, which is about normal, so to speak. Oh, I'm pointing here and I see you pointing over there. One of the questions was, rate the start of school, how did day one go for you? And 57.5% said amazing, with lots of support, smooth and lots of support. I give that credit to the admin team. 37.5 said good, a few bumps, but nothing major. So the majority of staff had a super successful start of the day one, which is incredible. The next question was, how do you describe the overall mood at AAA? 57.5, great, everyone's helpful and positive. 40% good, everyone's nice but still learning. It is small, a little bit of average, but for the majority of that, it's incredible for our very first start of school. Do you have someone you can collaborate with, trust, talk to, a peer partner? 97.5 said yes. So we've got to find out who that one individual is that doesn't. But again, that's great. Great collaboration, teamwork, and great culture building. Do you know where to go for help? 100% said yes. How would you describe your classes? So fun, good, happy, smooth. So much positivity with teachers engaging their students in the first week of school. Engage, high expectations, smaller class size, boundaries, energetic. What is one great thing that has happened to you so far this year? A lot of positivity, exciting connections, belonging, consistency, happy team. So again, this is a real positive start. Could not have been handled any better with our team, and that's been a team effort, so I'm grateful. I put just some quotes in here because I asked a question of like, what is your feedback? What are some of the things that you felt was successful? This year's the smoothest start to the year in my 5 years at AAA. It feels healthy and strong. It's a feeling the students are no longer in control. They will respect the rules and reputations of AAA. Let's keep it rolling. Glad to be here. I appreciate Dr. Mitchell's backbone. He sets expectations and doesn't flex under pressure. The beginning of the school year has been incredibly smooth, very uneventful and smooth. Teachers and students seem happy to be here and ready to get the ball rolling. I feel like I'm ready to really focus on my pedagogy and teaching skills. Just thank you. I'm so grateful to be able to continue to teach in this special place with great people across the board. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks to our admin team for all their hard work. I feel great about my job and look forward to a good year. There's a feeling that students are no longer in control and respect the rules and reputation AA is building for the future. So we had a really great start. We had almost everyone show up, a small percentage of kids that didn't. And we've been calling and making phone calls on those kids. We've got some enrollments trickling in. Preschool started today.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
We're ready.
Ready for preschool start. And so I really am grateful. This is a graph right now showing kind of where we are in relationship to last year. So we're down in a couple of areas, but we've got also some pockets of improvement. So we've got a big group of 10th grade, increase in 11th grade, increase in 5th grade. We're down a little bit at elementary. But again, I think we're continuing to add to our enrollment as best we can. So thank you, Michael. Any questions? Okay,
I have a question.
yes, please.
Sorry, and my dogs are in the background, so hopefully they don't go crazy. Love all the positive remarks. When you were talking with staff, did we ask for areas where there could be improvement?
Yes, and what I'll do is with that information, I'm gonna put together a kind of a plan. We'll talk with the administrators, and some of the suggestions for growth were more scheduled time for professional learning communities, more clarity and communication with departments. And so I want to have some action steps for those. But I felt like all of their responses are just ways we can get better. And so also part of my commitment with staff is anytime I give a survey, I give them the results as well. It's anonymous, but I also want them to understand and hear from their peers. So I'll share out the results to staff. So then we can work together to kind of look at some of those challenge areas. But for the most part, I was really pleased to see so much collaboration and communication happening between teachers. And we had an unusual kind of back to school professional development schedule, which gave them a little bit more time to work together. And I think that was a real win because they were able to spend some time in their departments planning out and thinking through how they're going to work on curriculum. We've got some new curriculum, so there's a little bit of flex in those grow areas too.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yes. Elementary. How are you?
We have had a fantastic start. It's been a really great year. It's been smooth. That word comes up a whole lot. It's been a very smooth start. We have, maybe. Are we good? Okay. We've had a lot of happy students, a lot of happy families. We've had our team is really strong. We have some new arrival and dismissal systems that have gone well, some like new rules to make things safer for everybody, and it's worked. Our dismissal is already getting to, our infamous car line is already at our normal yearly rate, so we're not long anymore. Transportation has been wonderful. Mr. Ty has done great things to get everybody on the bus that needs to be on the buses, so that's going well. Pre-K starts tomorrow. We had all of the families at the school last night, and they came to see the classroom. We did ice cream social. It was wonderful. We also have the pictures. We have Ruby. She belongs to Rue of Rue's World, but she is a trained therapy dog, and I'm her trained handler. So she's been at the school with me. She comes a couple days a week, and we have visited classrooms. So when we hear some kids having some, difficult times, she visits and helps them a lot. And also she's helped teachers a whole lot. The teachers really love to see her, especially. At our beginning of the year PD, we have a yearly concept, and our concept this year is GRIT, for growth, resilience, intention, and teamwork. So we spent a lot of time as a staff talking about GRIT. We spent a lot of time just talking about how we're going to collaborate as a staff to push forward, because we're kind of doing the same thing, and sometimes that can feel like a drag a little bit, but we're going to use the passion that we have for teaching kids to keep going and make it stronger. We have done we've had a lot of focus on lesson planning. We have some new instructional materials thanks to Jamie Dale, who has worked tirelessly to order some of these materials for us. I think she ordered 2,800 something picture books for us. Then Miss Katie Bowis and I we've been working on organizing them and giving them to teachers, because our kids are going to have a lot of books that are like real books, that you get at Barnes and Noble, along with their curriculum, not just out of a textbook. And so it's a really nice piece to our new curriculum. And Arts and Letters is integrated with the arts already, so it's fantastic. We also have Open SciEd for some of our science teachers, and that's a fantastic curriculum. It's a free curriculum, and our teachers have all been trained. We worked a lot on BIST, our behavior intervention support team, and that really transformed our school last year, and so we're taking it to the next level. We have the BIST trainer, Marty, who's coming to visit us next week, I believe, and she'll be working with our teachers and coaching everybody. We did data review with the OEP as a district, and that was a fantastic opportunity for our teachers to see some different ways to look at the data than they have before. And then we worked a lot on alignment and student support services. And having Dr. Watts in our building, it's already been amazing. Our teachers have used her as a resource already, and she has really done some amazing alignments with all the different processes we have to refer students for support services. So, and some of our teachers are already entering some of those forms in to get support for kids already. So the next things that are coming up right now, next week, we begin our Atlas screeners for kindergarten through second grade. And we also, this is actually at the end of this week, we are starting houses for our kids, kind of like Harry Potter houses. And we're gonna do a big launch on Friday where all of our kids get to learn what house they're in. Our teachers made a really cute video for all the kids to get them excited and pumped up about which house they're gonna get to be in. We are also working on doing lesson plan reviews. Teachers are turning in weekly lesson plans based on a format that we discussed during our PD, and we'll have instructional walkthroughs that we'll be talking about and the data that we'll be reviewing together. And we also have our safety committee starting back up soon. And we've already been looking at data and identified lots of kids already that we need to just look more deeply into. We are working on our 60% less technology. Our Chromebook access has been reduced. We're managing it more by grade level, and our teachers have worked really hard to reduce technology if it's not enhancing the learning and pushing it further. And then our big academic priorities this year are obviously, hopefully, strong tier 1 instruction. That's always our biggest goal, but we want to strengthen that even further. And our weekly lesson plans, we want those to be aligned to our existing pacing guides, our standards, and all of our artful learning. We are also focusing on structured student talk routines because we know that those further kids' learning and engagement and our formative assessment. And then our intervention based on student data. And then our goal is that we have a 90% plus alignment and walkthrough data to those existing pacing guide standards. Do you have any questions? Thank you.
Stars.
Positive and wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice girl.
Good evening. Hope everybody's having a good night. Our school year has started very smoothly, I think, with controversy, but other than that, we're having a pretty good start to the year. The teachers have been great. One of the things we talked about before the school year started was being a presence in the hallway and making sure kids are getting to class and doing those things. And the teachers have done a spectacular job with that. Making sure, because at a high school or a middle school and high school, the worst thing you can do is give kids a lot of free time because they find ways to get themselves in trouble. So one of the things we've made sure is stay engaged and keep kids learning and keep them in class. And that, as far as I tell so far, it seems to be working very well. I mean, the kids get to class. It's been great. Beginning of the year status, schedules and any changes were all finished today. Mrs. O'Neill, Lisa did a spectacular job. There were over 240 requests for changes. So she got them done starting open house night and finished them today. Concurrent classes are all set up and ready to go. NWAC started last Saturday. They opened the window last Saturday. The only snafu there has been making sure the kids can get online. And that's not us. That's NWAC giving them their passwords and everything. Lisa, Miss O'Neill is supposed to have those tomorrow. They're going to meet down here in the morning and make sure they can all get logged in and make sure everything's good, but they're good. NWAC has been incredible. As Lisa said, they've done a great job and been incredible for us. A-State has been a little bit more challenging, but at one point we had 4 kids, one who's no longer here anymore, and 3 others that did not want to take a class that they automatically enrolled them in. And according to them, they couldn't drop them from the class without Lisa's signature, the student's signature, and the parent's signature. And that had to be done today. The deadline was today. Luckily, she was able to find somebody at A-State a little bit more flexible, and they got them all dropped today. So A-State, the only thing we have through them, I believe, is biology, and they're ready to go. They start tomorrow. So dyslexia training, if I can talk, that began this week, Tuesday, today. Mrs. G has 10 students she will be working with, and she'll be working with them on Tuesdays and Thursdays in an intervention training, tier 1 to tier 3, whichever the student needs. And so that's already set up. Mrs. Cole's intervention for math. She is, this week is identifying the students that need it. She'll start pulling kids out or pushing into the classroom during those times starting next Monday. Grade level meetings, class level, where we meet with all the students. We're doing a little different this year. Instead of calling them all into one big group, we're going to go to their advisories one by one and have a little bit more intimate conversation. Instead of having 70 kids all at the same time, we're going to go in the classroom where it's 20 and maybe have a little bit better. Tardies and attendance. We didn't worry about tardies Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday last week. They really started to get today. What we will do on those is every Thursday, Miss Susan has volunteered to run in the afternoon and then send the letters out. I don't know if she knows what she signed up for, but then and the tardies will come to me and Kyle, Mr. Smithers, and we'll handle those. And Susan's going to go ahead and take care of sending letters home. And if there are conversations or phone calls that need to go to parents for attendance, we will do that. Susan won't. Susan's running those other things for us. Back to school bash, upcoming events, August 28th at 2:30 here at the high school. That's a student council event. Food Day, the 31st. No school, of course, the 7th. The HR Play Fest, that's our first big production. It'll be September 12th at 6. And then the Atlas interim testing on September 9th and 10th. That's before the next board meeting, so I thought I'd throw that out there.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you. Bumped it in.
Okay.
Arts integration, do we have an update? Do you guys have any updates? Okay, we're going to skip arts integration. They'll wow us next month, right? Yeah, okay.
Okay. Susan, do we have any comments from the public today?
Yes,
We do?
yes.
Okay, it's time for that.
Mr. Zach Zwonkowitz.
Close enough. Yeah, so Zach, if you want to go to the podium here. Comments from the public, you're limited to 3 minutes.
Yes.
There are certain topics, Zach, that we can't hear. There are certain things that we won't hear, so I'll stop you if we get into anything that we can't hear as a board. And you have 3 minutes, and we may or may not respond, okay?
Certain things that you can't hear.
Regarding personnel, staff, there are certain things, yeah, so
Gotcha.
if we're going to say a teacher's name, that's
No.
not, this is not the right form.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
names.
Got it.
Yeah.
No, that shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, go ahead.
3 minutes. Let me trim it down. So I'm Zach Zwonkowitz. I have had kids in here for 5 or 6 years. I attended Benton County School of the Arts back when we were building it. We had a bunch of teachers and students that tore out an old office building and turned it into a school. And somewhere along the way, it's AAA. I don't know that exact story, but I've had my kids in the system for 5 years. I've been incredibly happy with the AAA system. I'm at events, I make donations. I have one kid in the high school and one in the elementary. We're pretty well ingrained as parents into the school environment, I would say. We have kids, friends coming over all the time. We hear from kids that are not our kids. We hear from kids on Facebook. We hear a lot about the school. And this year there's something very, very different happening that has not happened previously. And it is students being shamed and embarrassed in front of other students. Students being made to feel like they're being eyed up and down in a sexual way, in a sexual context. That's derived from the dress code. My issue is not with the dress code. I think we just leave that aside and we just accept that if you don't have some kind of dress code, some students are gonna wear pajamas to school, they're gonna wear slippers, and some of them are going to choose to wear clothing that is too revealing. That will happen. So if you have to have a dress code, I believe it is incumbent on the school to have an enforcement mechanism for that dress code that does not involve shaming students, calling them out in front of other students. And it definitely should not involve anybody actively standing, monitoring at doors, locking up, chasing kids down, to have them in front of their peers assess their dress, whether too much of their thigh is showing, whether too much of their cleavage is showing, right? And these are things that I, as a parent, have heard 3, 4, 5 plus girls that are not my kids. Some of them aren't even friends of my kids, some of them are, right? We've been hearing about this since the first day of school. And I believe that it needs to be addressed right away. I do want to say that I did call up to the high school. I did have a conversation with the principal at the high school about this. And nothing that I heard was an encouragement of there being an issue. I was told there was no intent to make kids feel any kind of way. And that bothers me because I've been teaching my son about intent in this context, how you make people feel with your eyes, with your gaze, right? With your personal space since he was 5 years old.
Zach, you're a little over your 3 minutes. I'll give you just another couple
No, I
seconds if
appreciate
there's
it.
anything you want to close with.
I just want to stress that the intent is not the issue, it's the way the kids are being made to feel. And there needs to be a new enforcement mechanism identified and rolled out. Right.
Okay. Thank you, Zach.
Thanks.
Okay, it looks like we have Brandy signed up for comments as well. Brandy? Brandy, do you need my spiel again?
No.
Okay, 3 minutes.
I do wish that I could have 3 minutes for each topic, but I'm not gonna do that.
We meet again next month, Brandy.
I know, it's just not enough.
Okay, go ahead.
So my child was hit by a car today near the school. It's not a statement that happened to me today, but it is something at some point that we're gonna have to deal with our school. This morning while standing on 12th and Lazy L Street, helping divert traffic to use 13th and Seward, there was an officer that pulled up next to me. We had a short conversation about morning car line and him letting me know he was coming to check out traffic as he has every morning, which I found interesting as I had been standing there every morning and that was the first time that I'd seen him. He then told me to stay safe as he drove off, and he said these words to me. In 15 years, I have only heard of one instance of a child being hit by a car in front of a school in this area of Rogers. All day, these words have stuck with me. Because I come here today, not because I'm going to argue with anybody about a dress code or hats or anything else that has to do with anything on outside of those matters. I come here to find out. I want to know what has the school board, what has district in the past done about safety on 12th Street. I would like to know what has been looked into, who has gone where, for this. Has there been any city meetings attended by board members or any district staff who live in Rogers? We have 0 sidewalks on 12th Street. There's no signage other than the school sign on a stop sign. This is an absolutely terrible place for traffic. There are guardians that continue to completely ignore the handbook rules. They completely ignore the people standing there. I have physically, at one point, people will drive around you, but they have done an amazing job this year with the safety aspect. Parents are so happy with the traffic, the drop off, the way the car line is running. It is great, and I love it too. But there's still an issue with 12th Street, the corner of 12th and L. And the rules continue to be overlooked, and these are people playing with the lives of these kids. I want to be here today to be on record, voicing a real concern, because there are over 400 students whose lives are at risk every single time they walk to music, dance, or theater. Or those parents who continue to drop their kids off and just leave them to fend to oncoming traffic for themselves. These kids should be able to get to their safe place safely, and I'd like to know what has been done by the school, and what it is I can do to help fix this situation, other than what I'm doing every day.
Randy, thank you for your comments. Okay, there are some things we need to vote on before we move into new business. We need to approve the minutes from last month. I need a motion to do so.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We also need to vote on the financials, but before we do, I would just ask Adrienne if she saw anything that we should know about as a board before we do so. Okay. Right.
Do you want to do budget approval now?
Yes.
Okay, so as part of the financials, we'll have to specifically approve the budget.
Okay, so the budget is set for the year, and we're all voting on that, approving that budget, as well as the most recent financial statement. That's what this vote is for. I get a motion to approve those two things. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any- Okay, great. Okay, new business. Dr. Robertson, I'm going to defer back to you for any new business we need to discuss.
So we do have some, front page here, sorry. We do have some, policy changes in our dress code. I kind of want to reiterate that when we look at any policies in a student handbook, especially after the fact, it's usually because there's a need or there is a lack of clarification that creates confusion or misunderstanding. And so there are a few that I am suggesting into the for acceptance. And I think depending on how you guys want to look at them, talk about them, we can go one by one or discuss them all and approve as a whole, or we can do them individually. It's up to you how you guys want to do it.
Probably individually.
Individually is what I would say.
Okay.
One by one, and let's have a discussion.
Okay. Are you good with that?
Yes.
Okay, so under, and again, some of these are really looking at safety and just clarifying any kind of confusion. So under general expectations, there is an addition. So general expectations are the students are expected to dress in a manner that, and the additional bullet point is they are to dress in a manner that does not impede a fast exit from the building. So what that is if we are in the middle of a some sort of active shooter situation, we have a fire drill or active fire, kids need to be able to get out of the building as quick as possible. And so wearing something that would prohibit that is a concern. So that is the addition of this particular bullet.
And that's clarified more on the next few individual items, right? So do we hold to talk about that? Because in a general level, I agree with it, that you should be able to exit the building safely.
I don't have a problem with that. I just don't know that that statement clarifies anything. What are
It's
we
still
talking-
discretionary, which I think we're gonna run into that on a lot of these line items, is what's discretionary and what isn't as we change the policy, right?
I'm fine with that. Is there something specific that we're?
And to your point, it is a general statement. I think it's probably, if we skip down into,
Like, you don't want me coming to school on stilts, because
yeah, and I think
you get out of the building.
if we skip down
You
into,
can't list everything.
Wedding dress with a 9-foot long
dress.
tail
Okay.
probably would impede the ability to escape, right?
All right, I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm not sure how you clarify it for students, but I'm sure if you give them some examples of what you're seeing often.
yeah,
It
I
will
think
work.
one specific, and it's in the footwear section, is that shoes should not impede with students exiting the building quickly. So that maybe is a little bit more of a clarifying statement. So
Yeah.
they can't wear super high heels that they can't run really fast in, or they can't wear shoes that are untied, or they can't wear flip-flops, or they can't wear shoes that they can't pick up traction and get out and exit the building very quickly.
I'll wait till we get to the shoe section to ask my question on that.
Yeah, we're on it.
I think we're on it.
Go ahead.
Okay, I don't like having an ambiguous thing on high heels. And I'm going back to the comments that were made earlier. And I'm thinking of my daughter who went through puberty early and was 5'9" in 8th grade and walked into school in boots that had heels on them that were fine, but did make her tower over a teacher that sent her directly to the office for a dress code violation, even though she'd worn for the skirt she was wearing, not for the shoes, but and she'd worn the exact same skirt a week before, but with the heels it looked different. So I mean, we're getting into some murky territory with that, as far as high heels, and that one makes me a little anxious
Yeah,
on what's too high.
I totally understand, Dr. Sharkey, and I did not, that was just an example. We could use all kinds of other examples, but basically, can the kids get out of the buildings as quick as possible? And if we need to, it's just vague. So again, the statement itself is, shoes should not impede with students exiting the building quickly.
So the way it's written is discretionary, right? So in the scenario Marty just described, right, that could be seen as, well, your discretion was out of line, right? Because I can run just fine, but in 9-inch heels, maybe I can't. So are we a board comfortable with a policy that's then discretionary? Or do we sit here and write every possible thing to the inch of this and that to make a dress code policy, right?
I will say that this statement, this bullet point, goes underneath all of the guidelines under footwear. So the ones above it says shoes must be worn at all times. Slippers are not permitted. Cleat stance shoes are allowed only in designated classes. Shoes with wheels, even if those are still a thing anymore, are prohibited. Shoes should not impede students entering. So it's not its own line item. It's just sort of a bullet that sort of defines what footwear what to be avoided in footwear. If that makes any sense.
I don't know if that last statement is necessary.
Okay.
I think that if you hit the main ones, which is no wheels, you gotta wear shoes. What was the third,
No slippers.
no slippers.
Yeah.
Like dress for school, not for bed. But I don't think that last part is necessary.
Okay, all right.
Well,
I think that is helpful.
policies need to change, right? They need to be updated occasionally. Wheels and shoes was a thing. And
Yeah.
no student policy said you couldn't do that, so it had to be
Right.
changed,
Right.
right? I just come back to, why are we changing it? Do we need to focus in on that particular thing? So do we feel, does staff feel, teachers feel that the types of shoes that are being worn are a safety issue?
I think the general consensus is, can kids get out of the building as quick as possible? And to have the forethought that what they wear to school could potentially be at risk if they can't. I mean, I think of safety all the time, every day. And so if that bullet does not do anything to help clarify that,
I think
then I'm
I think it
totally
adds to
okay.
the murkiness of it and
Okay.
subjectability, and you're gonna have different people filing a dress code violation for different, it's not gonna be consistent, and I just don't think it's necessary that particular, if you have to wear shoes, you can't wear bedroom slippers, and you can't have wheels. I think now, I mean, you said something about laces not being tied. I think, if that is a thing, that would be something more in particular, like wear shoes and wear them properly.
Or say that specifically.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you-
all laces must be tied.
And for your thought and feedback, do you think that
That's not gonna happen. They
needs,
tie them up all kinds of ways.
do we need that under the general expectations or eliminate it altogether? Are you just making
So
the assumption?
originally, she started with does not impede a fast exit from the building under general.
But I guess my argument to that would be, if they're wearing shoes they're wearing shoes, they're not slippers, and they don't have wheels, I'm not sure what they could wear that would impede their exit out of the building, or that couldn't be tossed off and barefooted out. You know what I mean? But I don't think that is.
I don't know anything about heels, but is there a certain height of heel where it is?
So give me a 12-inch heel, I can run out of this building.
No,
My daughter cannot run in
My-
heels. I mean, so it's.
Okay, then maybe I'm being
Well, no, I
too
mean, and
cautious.
maybe
There's, some stuff that the staff is seeing specifically that we
Right,
can
I think
review.
that's valid.
So if there's stuff that they're seeing that they're like, ooh, this is a problem.
Yeah,
Like slippers or the wheels, for example,
right.
came about because the folks in the classrooms and the hallway saw, hey, this specifically is a problem. So if there's something they're seeing that is a problem, I think we all are very willing.
Safety first.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
mean-
All right,
But I
let's
think
circle back. Let me
let's
get
pick
more
something
details.
specific that-
Let
that
me,
is
let's,
causing an issue.
I'm happy to do that. Let's circle back. The next one under bottoms is, there was a statement in there that said, shorts and skirts must have a minimum 3-inch inseam. And so I'd like to take that 3-inch inseam out, because I'm not even sure who would measure that. And just put,
That's good. That's a good point.
fingertip
Nobody
length.
better be doing that. Nobody should be measuring.
And I'm not sure even kids know what an inseam is, so, fingertip length, if that would clarify the length of appropriateness on skirts and shorts.
hey, can I call you back in a minute?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, bye.
Oh. Sure, okay.
No, I think fingertip is appropriate and that you can just ask a girl to put down their arms quickly and then you're done.
Yeah.
Or a boy.
Move on. Or a boy. Or boy,
they've got sort of short
or
staff.
whomever.
Yes. Yeah.
But
I
that's,
think that-
that's an easy, throw down your arms, you're fine, go. And it's not, it shouldn't be an issue.
Do we have that in our employee handbook?
About the length of skirts. That's a very good point, and I will double check.
If it's not in the employee handbook and we're gonna put it in the student handbook, it needs to also be.
I'll make sure that's in the.
I will say that fingertip length, I think, is a general provision in most schools. I think that's just, you know, I know that when I was in junior high, I've been dating myself with these dress code things. I mean, we had to, it was ridiculous. We would have to kneel on the floor and they would measure how high, you could only have so many inches off from your knee. And so they would do that. And it talked about humiliating, yeah. I mean, but we lived through humiliation on a regular basis. But yeah, I don't think we need to do that for the kids.
Yeah, no. I mean, I had to do fingertip length. Fingertip length. Are we?
No more 3 inches, it seemed.
No,
It's
We're
fingertip
eliminating
length.
nobody
that.
should get a measuring aid.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no one measuring. We're taking that out and we're just putting fingertip length. That's.
Okay.
For everybody. For everybody.
Okay. Okay, the next one is, for safety reasons, chains connecting piercings to other facial or ear jewelry are prohibited due to the risk of injury.
That one's very specific. I agree with it. I don't want to have a bias necessarily, but I do see the safety concern. If you are moving fast, you can get hurt.
And this is school and kids do some pretty dingbat things, sometimes not intentionally trying to hurt another student or what have you.
Our job as a board is just to make sure that the kids can be educated here. That's what we're supposed to do,
I
right?
would argue as much as hands-on stuff is happening in our classrooms, it could pose a safety concern as well.
To the student
Sure, yeah,
primarily. So,
yes, to the student.
my point being, is this potentially distraction as well? Like, is that part of why this?
Can I, as a physician,
Yes.
distraction, I don't think is an issue. It's safety. I mean, that can get hooked on anything throughout the day in chemistry lab, in theater, and whatever's going on, and cause significant damage to the student. It's just, you know, they want to take that risk on outside of the classroom. That's fine, but we're trying to keep them safe and their bodies intact.
Yeah. Okay.
Agreed?
Yes. Agreed.
Okay, so we're okay with this policy change?
Okay. The next one is sunglasses. Sunglasses should not be worn in the building unless for a medical reason. So some of the issues are students are wearing sunglasses in the classroom during instruction, and teachers are having to get into a confrontation about taking sunglasses off. And so obviously if they're outside at PE, they're outside at lunch, if they're doing an activity where there is sunlight, that's different, but in the classroom, it's not a necessary accessory unless they have a medical.
That's the key, is
With
if
the
there's a medical reason.
With the medical issue, or maybe it's, I don't know if it's actually medical, but would that include kids that have some sort of a special need, or like on the spectrum or something that?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes, if there's a necessity, but when they are wearing their mirrored sunglasses in class and it becomes a distraction from instructional time, and teachers have to address it, that's what we want to avoid.
Okay.
The medical reasons would be, you know, somebody on the spectrum or migraines, which I experience. Those would be the main, or if they've had some type of recent ocular surgery, you would need them, or procedure, dilated their eyes. But otherwise, it kind of goes a little bit, I'm gonna skip out, to the hat thing, like, to show respect and to show you're paying attention, you need that eye contact. And if there's a medical reason you can't, then I think glasses are the way to do that. And we should respect that. But they shouldn't be used as a way to be dismissive of authority.
I agree, as long as we have that, allowances can be made in certain situations, medical, et cetera. Anybody else?
I agree with that.
Good.
Okay, and the last one we're gonna talk about is the hoodies and hats. So previously, the statement was hoodies are not allowed, hats are allowed.
I think we might need to separate this.
Hoodies and hats specifically separated?
But because I think there needs to be a clarifying, if it just said that hoodies are not allowed, that every kid has a hoodie. What we're meaning is you cannot put your hood up in class. That's what we're meaning, right?
Well, I was thinking the same would go for hats I don't have a problem with kids wearing hats at school, but if in the classroom, I mean, traditionally, every school I've ever been to, and I've been to a lot, we moved a lot, you couldn't wear a hat in the classroom during classroom time. So I don't know, and the hoodie thing would go along with that, because certainly that's, unless there's a medical reason, which sometimes my husband teaches special education, so obviously there are kids that are on the spectrum or whatever, and sometimes that's their comfort. And so but that is taken on a case-by-case basis. That would be my
I think we need to
input.
focus on hoodies first,
Okay.
right? And then talk about hats. And I think this is divisive. And the reason I think it's divisive is I look at a lot of other school policies here locally. And I saw both ends. I saw no tolerance, no hats, period. And then I saw hoodies are fine as long as I can see your face. Hats are fine. Bandanas are fine. So I saw a whole broad spectrum of policies just in Northwest Arkansas, right? And I think this one's divisive. So I think we should focus on hoodies and then talk hats.
Okay. I can tell you as a teacher of high school students currently, it just feels so disrespectful when kids come with the hoodies on and to your point, I do have kids where I'm like, oh yeah, this is too loud, this is too much, they're putting their head up for a reason. I think in the very least, it can't be written no hoodies. They wear hoodies all day. What we mean is no hoods on. No hoods on.
Don't wear a hood during your class.
Right, and I don't know how teachers want it written, during instruction, I don't know if you want to get that detailed.
If it's too gray, it becomes divisive here every day when we're not
Then
here.
it's a fight.
Hey, it's okay for that student over there, that kiddo's doing it, but I can't do it because mine looks different.
Right.
And it causes a lot of division in the building when we're not here.
Yeah.
So that whatever we do, it needs to be super clear what our expectations are in our policy and then enforce them as such.
So our policy already said they were not allowed.
Yeah, no hoodies.
So what I would like to suggest is they can wear a hooded sweatshirt. They cannot have the hood on.
Yeah, because I don't want them coming in a rain jacket and putting their hood on either.
hoodie-
It's the hood on your head in class.
In class too, right?
Yeah,
So
in class.
just not having it on, because another part of it is the safety. So if we have an incident in the building and we're trying to look at cameras and we're trying to determine who was involved.
Safety.
You
So really
can't.
it's inside the building. The hood outside the building is to keep the rain off of your
Yes.
head or to keep warm, right?
Right,
So we're saying inside the building,
inside the
the
building,
hood can't be up.
and we had already approved that, but I would like to,
I would like
Right,
the language
clarify.
clarified a
Yeah,
little bit.
language.
I would too.
Yeah, I just
Can
think
Hoodies off inside the building. Hoods,
Hoods off.
hoods of any kind.
Hoodie. Hoods off, hoodies.
Hoods
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Um, is there anything in the handbook, just because we're starting to talk about head coverings? We're gonna get into, we have to be very careful here, like we're entering into religious freedoms here.
I think there's,
You can
that's
add that.
distinguished.
You can
Yeah,
add
I
that
think
language.
there is, and if not, I'll look at it, but it's, religious, head coverings, let me look at that and I'll bring it back next time, but we can add that statement in, but I do think that's important and we might not have that in there.
We need to make sure we do.
Yeah, agreed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll bring that back next time.
Okay, and then hats. I think this is the tough one because hats vary wildly in shape, style, size, right? And can have varying degrees of impact on the kid's ability to learn. But when we make it discretionary, it becomes a fight. Again, the policies all over Northwest Arkansas vary wildly as it relates to hats. What does everybody think? I have an opinion about it, but I don't want to impose my bias on you guys. I just want to have a discussion.
I would
Isn't that
like
what
to
we're
know what our
It is a little
what our
bit.
faculty and administration is asking of us, because that's kind of how
That's
these
true.
policy changes come about. We're asked to consider them for a reason. So,
So what do the teachers want is what you're asking.
yes.
I think,
Do we have
I
that?
think the general consensus is, first off, hats are a very wide range of head ornamentation. And so.
To use that language.
So if you instantly think of hats being baseball caps, that's correct, but then there's also all the other ones. So teachers do not want, teachers are teachers. They want the kids to come in the room, they want them all to be ready to learn. And they don't want to have to immediately get into a discourse of a kid about what's appropriate and what's not, what's dress code or what's not. Because that
Agreed.
conversation it evolves and consumes the majority of the class period. What they appreciate is having very black and white, clear guidelines, and they really appreciate an administrator that backs them up. So they don't have that struggle, period. And so we want to make it as clean and as easy for teachers because they have a hard job irregardless. And we want to support them. And so by saying no hats, yes, that is limiting. But we're also making it very clear when kids are walking in that classroom, teachers are not having to worry about that. They're not having to worry about the hoods. They're not having to worry about all the other things.
I mean, for me, I don't, just me personally, I think that if they uncover, meaning they take off whatever hat they have on, or the hoodie might be a separate thing, like you were talking about, because it's obscuring the identity of the person perhaps. But with a hat, I think if they just take it off as they cross the threshold into the classroom, then there's nothing to discuss. They can wear their hat to school, they can wear it at lunch, they can wear it whatever, but not in the classroom. That would be my take on it.
I wrote a policy, I see it a little bit differently. I wrote a policy that a hat, a beanie, a bandana is okay as long as your ID is clearly displayed, as long as your face can be seen. I read a policy that way. But then there's the 10-gallon bucket hat. And then there's the, oh, well, you can see my face. You can see my ID, right? But that hat is a distraction to what needs to happen in the classroom. Even if you take it off and set, so I don't know how we, as a board, dictate a policy that properly encapsulates it. Because a baseball cap's a baseball cap, and a beanie when it's wintertime and you wear your beanie inside. So the policy seems to be, you just think hats, right? Like problem solved. But this is really divisive, and I want to say one last thing. We are an art school. These kids want to express themselves, and they get to do that with hair color, fashion. There's certain things that don't impede safety or learning, and you get to do that in art school. But also part of what makes this place special is there's a few things, like it's not so rigid that you can't have a few things not taken away from you. So that's the reason I struggle with the hats being just flat eliminating them. I have a problem with flat
I
eliminating
have a
them.
problem eliminating them. I don't think they
That's what
should.
our current is in front of us, says no hats.
Well, and I get that, and by no means do I want to create an environment that feels sterile. But at the same time, I'm in support of what teachers need to be
Agreed.
successful in their classroom. And I do not want to put teachers anymore in the position where they're in a confrontation with a minor about how you show respect.
Well, I think too, the problem with the hats, because it's not just a baseball cap. You come in with a hat with flaps, I call it an Alaska hat, because that's where I got mine.
Right. For my fishing hat.
Yeah, exactly.
In it.
Right,
Yeah.
you've got your AirPods in, I can't see now.
Yeah.
I don't know that you have your AirPods in, you know? And I think that brings in a whole other issue. My son's getting me in the throat for saying all of that, just so we know.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Now you're taking out two sensory inputs, vision and hearing, with one piece of clothing, and that's how we're gonna learn.
This one's tough. I don't know, you guys can tell me I'm wrong, but I just don't like going full tilt, no hats. I can't get my head around it.
How do we tell the teachers that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe I have to tell them. Maybe they can blame me. It's all my
that's
fault.
my thing, like, my personal opinion doesn't matter about
And
this. My kid's opinion, honestly, like, at the end of the day, we're being asked to set policies for safety, and this probably isn't a safety issue, except when you're covering your face.
I think it's more of a respect and a learning issue there, because it doesn't need to be distracting, and that's subjective. And I mean, y'all, I'm really happy to hear all about, different takes on it for sure. I just think that if you don't ban the hats, but just eliminate wearing them in the classroom, I think that strikes a balance, but definitely the teachers need to weigh in on that, whether that's true or not.
Yes, so to finish what I was saying, the teachers and administrators are saying this is a problem for us. And that's why they're asking for this. So I'm not wholly opposed to the idea that they just can't be in the classrooms, although it feels like if they're already saying this is a problem, I'm having to deal with it in my classroom too much. I don't want to deal with my classroom, so I'm either not, which is going to cause a divide amongst the kids. This teacher's making me follow the rule and this teacher's not. Or the teacher, it becomes too much, and now our office administration, instead of spending time on more important things, are spending time on enforcing dress code. And as a parent, I want you to call me 5 times a month about my kid's dress code. I agree with you. It's tough to take something away from the kids if that's what they're using for, I did just like, how many hats are we like? Is this are we doing that?
It's not about the volume, but we also have to take out of our mind that we're talking about baseball caps.
Yeah, I don't think it would have come up if the only thing kids were doing
I'm
are
not
wearing baseball
envisioning that,
caps.
by the way, as we're talking. I keep thinking about his description of a cowboy hat, a clown hat. I don't even care.
Yeah.
And
I was here on the first day of school. Saw lots of kids walking in with baseball caps too. And all of those kiddos are gonna have to take those hats off if we enforce this policy. So we might not be talking about baseball caps. That's not why we're here. But it is gonna affect a lot of those students that wear them, and that might be their identity.
I just think
So
it
just
weighs
consider
really,
that.
I think it weighs really heavy that we're being told this
Is a problem by the staff.
this interrupts our day so much.
good
We're
question.
gonna bring it to the board.
Yes, Dr. Sharkey.
Can we get clarification? Like, is it interrupting the classroom or is it interrupting the whole day? Like, are we being told this is interfering with my ability to teach, or is it interfering with the ability of the school to function? Because if it's, those are two different things. When is it a problem? Do we know?
Sure, I think it is a classroom issue. I think it's also, again, I think it goes back to respect. I think it goes back to the classroom. I don't know about the hall walking around part of it, but I do think that when kids come in and their hat is a focal point of the, again, not baseball cap, but when their hat is a focal point for attention that is distracting away from the purpose of them being in that classroom, and the teachers having to navigate that.
Then,
That's
I would lean towards no hats or hoodies, not to conflate the two, but I'm going to, in the classroom, in the hallway, in this lunch, outside, be your individual selves, represent who you are. But if it's in the classroom, we need to show respect.
I keep saying I'm not gonna say anything else, but one more thing that I just thought of, as you're describing all the crazy hats, right? So you have crazy hats in the hallway. Now you have teachers having, like, they're stealing them from each other, and hitting each other with them, and trying to tear them up, and being regular kids. But now you have teachers dealing with, he took my whatever, I don't know, if it's causing chaos everywhere.
I haven't heard from a teacher yet, so I don't know that it is causing chaos. And is there, can we table this in order to actually hear anecdotally from the elementary and the high school teachers as to what the actual concerns are, like boots on the ground kind of?
Can we put crazy hats in our policy? In parentheses?
Well, because we don't know what that is.
Right, then
Right.
it becomes discretionary.
Yeah.
Like,
And
that's
then
the
it
whole
becomes a
right here.
hybrid.
I'm with Tina a little bit, is maybe we have to table, because I don't know that we can decide this. Unless you
I
guys
think we need
agree,
more
what's our
information.
current policy? Like, what is our current policy? Because that's what we need to enforce. We have approved a policy right now. What does it say?
Well, it says hats, yes, hoodies, no.
Okay.
And it's being brought up to say, we need help with hats.
So
What
if we
if they're-
table this, it's a month.
No, I don't wanna
Or-
table it. What if we start small and say no hats in the classroom, which is what you had said earlier. And see if that,
See if it
Let me see if
alleviates
we
the
still
issue.
have
right,
an
so
issue.
then our administration, both of our principals, assistant principals, whoever, can say, listen, we're giving you the opportunity to wear your beanie on the bus and to come and at lunch, show your personality, but in the classroom, you take it off. But, you know, then you have to be respectful of that, but like, you're not gonna follow the rules and we're gonna take them out completely.
Is
Like, if it
that-
becomes an enforcement issue for our teachers, where they're spending more time in their day saying, take your sunglasses off, take your hats off, take your hoodies off, then they've not taken care of the privilege that they've been given.
No, I don't disagree. I think, you know, if something needs to be done now, it could be done provisionally to see. But, and that would give the teachers an opportunity to see if it makes a difference or not.
I don't wanna do nothing when they've asked us to do something.
Okay.
So if you're not, like, if as five of us, we're not comfortable saying no hats, which is what it sounds like, then I think we should do something.
I agree.
There's often a middle ground. You know, I feel like, you know, just saying absolutely no on some things is just it's a little too far, a little too pedantic. I mean, I think these are kids that are growing into themselves and learning regulation of the, you gotta give them a little opportunity and see if we can come to a happy medium, basically. If we don't have to go too extreme, we shouldn't go too extreme.
My only pushback to that is the no hoodies because it's a safety issue.
Oh, I'm
No
not talking
hoods
about
on it,
hoodies, I was
yeah.
talking about hats.
Just hats. Yep. I think we're all aligned here that no hats in the classroom. This board is comfortable saying that should be our policy. And maybe we revisit, see if it's still a problem in the corridors at lunch.
Or if it's an enforcement
And we-
issue, it's taking every bit of their time to deal with this kid did not refuse to take it off or whatever.
When we revisit, we'll have some more teacher feedback on what this policy
Yeah,
changed.
I don't wanna bury it. Let's.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see how they feel about this.
It needs to be on the agenda for next month. I want
Yeah.
feedback.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Dr. Roberts, you need us to officially vote on these changes that we just discussed with the student handbook, right?
Correct.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the student handbook
I
changes?
move to approve it.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Okay, any other new business, Dr. Roberts?
Oh, no more new business.
Okay. My favorite part of this meeting is I need a motion to adjourn it.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
In there. I have a concert too. I'm usually the one doing it. I'll second.
all in favor?
Hi.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, thanks, adjourn.
Thanks, y'all. Thanks for putting up with me from a distance.
Thank you.
Thank you.